Welcome back. Monday morning, Monday night
Ooh,
for Parker Ray. How are you feeling?
good morning. Good morning. Feeling good?
Really? How's your portfolio? Bobby, the guy that we had on Thursday, kind of called it. 90 to 94K, I think we went to. We're at 95 right now. So far, he's pretty much called this perfectly.
Yeah, I mean it's going right down to the levels that he talked about. Those 6 month liquidation marks getting taken out beautifully. I'm starting to DCA in as we speak. Had another couple grand today. I threw in a couple grand over the last couple days, and I'm going to hopefully heavily start allocating on the way down to the mid 80s.
And if it never happens, it's kind of like I see this as a mini little war between you and Bobby. Okay, you're calling for lower. He thinks it could potentially happen, but then we get that reverse. So I think he was calling for $140,000. A lot of people are messaging me now, acting like it's my fault. Personal friends. It's like, you said this bull run was going to be here by 2025. What happened? And then obviously the 4-year cycle, is it invalid? It's getting pretty close. It's getting pretty close, chat, to being invalid. Let's be honest. We have a month and a half left. What do you think about that? You think it's over for the 4-year cycle, 2026?
I'm with Bobby. I think Bitcoin has that potential for the 140K mark. I just think we have the next couple weeks potential to wick down to, I mean, we're in extreme fear right now. I think a little bit lower wick just to the mid 80s to completely just scare everyone. It's over. Everyone's done. Everyone starts shorting. Everyone gets out of crypto. And then at that point is when we flip back to the upside, take out all the shorts and a spot driven rally to the upside, hopefully.
We are at levels, Isaac, if you can show the screen, of CMC Fear and Greed Index of 17. I remember vividly of this being 15 back, God, was it June, July, whatever, 25, somewhere around then, the second kind of one. That was when Render was super cheap. That was when Solana was dirt cheap. That was when your coin Sui was so cheap. We're at those levels again, but I'll tell you something, at least personally for me, it doesn't feel as shaky. It doesn't feel as bad as, do you remember these levels? When it was, this literally
Yeah, no,
happened
I'm
overnight.
with you. Yeah, nothing feels fundamentally different with the market, right? I mean, for me, on my end at least, I mean, I feel much more confident than I even did back then in April. Maybe we're just getting
maybe we're
exposure
just
therapy.
old. Maybe we were just
Maybe we're
old.
just
Maybe we've just
retarded.
been in this. Maybe we were just a little bit numb to it, because I think that's what usually typically happens. You know, I've seen so many new guys come in right now, and that might be you watching this video, where it's like, this is really giving them a hard time. You know, if you put in $10,000 and your portfolio goes down 30 to 50%, which it probably has done if you bought the peak on some of this altcoins, it's not like Bank of Scotland, Chase bank account, you come and just lose $5,000 on paper. So I can understand. It's like, where did the money go? But the caveat to that is true as well. If it goes the other way, that's the risk/reward that you're playing. So if it's new guys are feeling this market right now, I understand. You probably remember the bear, okay? How bad was that? It's kind of tough. And I definitely remember 2021. You know, I've talked about this a lot on Bitcoin going to $64,000 and it being cut in half in this massive crash. So this sucked, but it did reverse. The problem we're having right now, at least for me, is this gave enough time for Bitcoin to recover in that 4-year cycle. Now, if that was to happen, it's like, come on, guys, we're in November, December here. By the time we're pushing this pretty close to this 4 years, so it's probably going to be invalid. And that's the thing about cryptocurrency. Always chucks in a new thing. There's always a new thing every cycle. It's like, oh, this is new. It's never going to be the same. But the problem we're having right now is altcoins. Most of them aren't coming back close to their 2021 high. I mean, you look at ADA, you look at AVAX, you look at HBAR. Sui's not obviously brand new. Like, what other coins are there? Solana's came close. I think it pretty much got there. Ethereum's came close, but it hasn't gave us that $6,000 to $8,000 that a lot of people were saying. Not even close. So I think that's the problem with people right now. It's like they don't know if their altcoin is actually going to be the one that saves them if it comes back.
It's funny how it's so much scarier for people to buy right now than at all-time highs. Like, why does it feel so much more comfortable to buy something at the highest it's ever been when there's technically probably the most risk than right now? I remember like Sui, for example, we're at like $1.65, $1.70 right now. I remember about a year ago, last September, when Sui hit $1.75, feeling so excited that we hit $1.75 finally. I even took a little profit at that point. So it's like, we shouldn't be doing such big buys at the $4 or $5 mark. This is the time to load in these old highs, old lows down here at $1.70. This is the time to load up. I bought another, I think, 5K of Sui today. So money is where my mouth is. Practicing what I preach here.
Where are you getting this money from?
Bro, just stable coins sat on the side.
Because last time I checked, I had no money. So where are you getting the money from?
Stable coins stacked up, followed Bobby's call a little bit, not with everything, just a little bit. And then the pools, making profits every day, just
compounding,
purposing and choosing where they go.
Okay, the second point on his list. I always give Parker the night before this to have some notes, and he sends me the rawest bullet points from ChatGPT ever. So I have to bring them.
It's not ChatGPT.
I mean, it could be. What is our buying window? What does that mean?
What is our window of opportunity here to buy? Like, for example, Bobby's 6-month mark here at the 94K down to what I think the 1 year is at that 83K. Anywhere between there is great buys to be stacking up on Bitcoin. If you're trying to get cute and wait for that actual mid 80s, I mean, you might get stuck holding. What if we only hit 88K and you were waiting for 85, right? So it's important that as we enter this window to start accumulating, start to buy back in. If you want to be long, if you're bearish and you don't want exposure, I'm not going to twist your arm into it.
And it's a very important thing that he said, right? You can wait for these levels that don't actually come. And the caveat to that is true also, right? You can wait for these levels to take profits on coins and they don't actually come. You remember all of these coins had to hit these whole numbers in 2021, right? Bitcoin had to hit 100K. It didn't happen. Didn't even get close. Ethereum had to hit 10K, at least for me. HBAR had to hit $1. XRP, whatever it was, people were saying. Celsius was another one. All these coins had to hit whole numbers and none of them happened. So if you're trying to buy and be cute with it, that's fine. Set limit orders. But just be honest, if you're a couple of grand away from Bitcoin or a couple $100 away from Ethereum from these targets you want, it might be good to just get in the game because you might never get those limit orders filled and then you never get to ride the upside. And again, the caveat to that's true also. If you never take profits, you might come so close but so far and then you're just caught in between. So that's a good point. Never really thought about that one before.
Good way to put it. Mm-hmm.
What is the downside? That's an interesting one because I think the downside is going to be different for everybody watching this video. What's the downside for you if your portfolio / altcoins went to shit?
Yeah,
let's just imagine.
So it depends person by person, right? So funny enough, in chat, I see someone saying Bitcoin's going to zero. So if you're someone that believes in that, then starting to accumulate now would never be a good idea. If you actually think Bitcoin's going to zero, right? But if you're someone like me who thinks long-term Bitcoin's going to do nothing but go up and that zero is not even a possibility, that's my belief in Bitcoin, then I'm going to be looking to accumulate. And I wouldn't see Bitcoin going down past those lower 80s. And if we did wick even back to 75 like we did in April, that's something that I would continue to buy those dips and lower my average entries. It's something that I have faith in long-term. And so my downside is not going to be my account's not going to blow up versus if I'm buying bullshit. Like if I'm buying memes and stuff like that right now, that's definitely something where your downside could be everything.
Agree. Bitcoin going to zero. I mean, what would you be in if you believed that? Nothing. Because if Bitcoin was to go to zero,
bro,
it would be, we wouldn't have a YouTube channel anymore. We'd probably have to switch to, I don't know, stocks, the S&P. We just pull up and just say, buy it. Okay. How to best play this dip, leverage into cash flow. That's the last point I want to make on you before I give my take on this. What does that mean?
I was reading chat. Can you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
You wrote, how to best play this dip, leverage into cash flow.
Yeah. So, I mean, starting to DCA into these assets now. So like, for example, bought some Bitcoin today and yesterday, bought SUI today, starting to DCA into the coins. And then I can even borrow against those coins. I borrow against my SUI, against my Bitcoin, and put those to work in pools. So I'm starting to get pretty long here at where I think the bottoms are coming. But then I'm also exposing myself to pools so I can generate cash flow. That way, if we keep dipping down, I have cash coming in to keep buying the dip. Or if we go sideways or up, I'm exposed to the upside and still printing money every day. And so I'm just putting myself in a win-win position, essentially.
Interesting. Okay. We're going to get through my questions. I said I would do this, and then we're going to go back to anybody in chat. And yeah, just if anybody's got any questions while I'm reading this, I think it's important. So Parker, I'll chuck some to you. I'll chuck some to me. I have to kind of answer these alls because I guess these ones are the OG. The first one is, you should get some merch, dude. Okay, whatever.
Wait, what did it say?
It said you should get some merch, dude. Merch is like merchandise. I don't think anybody's going to buy a J Carter fucking t-shirt.
Gotcha.
All right. Is it worth holding quality coins if we go down more, let's say the bear market territory, and put them into pools? would be willing to, maybe for a couple of months or years until a big pump. Okay, well, you just said you're doing that to utilize cash flow, etc., buy more coins. So holding quality coins if we go down, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on the coin. There's stuff like, for example, Sui. If you've been holding Sui from $4 down to where it is now, it's like, I don't think the downside is that big left. So I don't think if you're holding it down, you're going to be holding it down much farther. If it was something like, a couple months ago where we're hitting highs, be taking profit, maybe that's not the best time to enter and start. But I mean, right now, I think, things, I'm going to knock on wood real quick because I don't think they can get too much worse, but I guess we never know. But, putting your assets to work, starting to get cash flow in solves a big piece of the equation, because then you're not too worried. If the market does go down another, let's say 10% on Bitcoin down to, that takes it to the lower 80s there. You're making cash flow. So you're DCAing in at those prices and you have more cash available. So I think getting started, at least with some of your portfolio, is not a bad idea.
Yeah, pools are not a bad strategy, guys. Again, you can do this without even buying our shit. Like, we don't even want you to buy our shit if you can't get results before us. You can literally take whatever coins you believe in, go and look at some pools on VFAT, literally start with $100, and you can start getting more AVAX on your AVAX, more Bitcoin on your Bitcoin, more Ethereum on your Ethereum. And you'd be surprised how much of a difference that does make at today's prices if you still believe we're going to go higher. I can only promise you that. If you know what you're doing and you can do that, you will get way more coins today than in the future value. And if you don't believe the coins are going to go up, you should probably sell anyway. So there really is no, in my opinion, risk if you're doing it on quality assets. And that's what we always say. If you have quality assets, just like that question said, you should be absolute fine stacking more coins if you believe the market's going to go up. And even if it doesn't go up, and we have to go down to your levels, Bobby's levels, which are already there, shouldn't really matter, because every single day, every single month, you get more of those coins. For a better, I used to say better 25, and now it's for a better 26 almost. I'm going to have to start saying this in, because we're pretty much in 2026. Yeah, nice.
Chat is going crazy. Everyone's saying hopium. You guys are extremely naive. Saying
we are naive because what else is there to do? What was it?
Said you can't be the real Jake Gordon. Bitcoin's going back to 40K. Bitcoin's going back to 50K. A lot of calls for lower. What do you think, man?
I would actually be
happy
with that.
What do you have to say to you're not the real Jake Gordon?
I don't even know what that means. How
do you prove it? It's the main channel. It's your face.
Does it mean I'm AI or I've changed? What does that even mean? And again, I told you not to answer silly questions because it loses it off track. And for the next 30 minutes, we start arguing if I'm AI. That's the problem. Let's finish these questions. We'll go back to chat and we'll talk about maybe some part of this video. Hey, if you were buying cryptocurrency today, or what should maybe the average person do? Because again, that seems to be what these streams are dependent on right now. It's what should they do? And we can't tell them what to do. We can just tell you what we would do. And again, just to answer that question, we still have our portfolios. We're still locked in. We still have pills. I wish I listened to Bobby that said at 125, when he shorted the market, he made a bag on that. But for me, it was just too emotional, because if we did run the other way, I'd be so mad at Bobby. I could not have let that happen. Same with you, right? It would have been nice to short the market, but I don't know about you. I just can't play that game.
I'd rather sideline than short, just because shorting, you can get just screwed forever. If you just sideline, you can always hop back in.
Let's finish these 4 or 5 questions off. Isaac, you need to stop looking at me. You keep making me nervous. I just see you fidgeting. He's just fidgeting, bro. He fidgets way too much. None regarding crypto, but do you play any racing simulators? What the fuck?
Bro, you said I was off topic.
I'm answering the one off the YouTube community, so I have to answer all these. Can't wait to hear your thoughts about how you'll be rich in 40 years from now.
40 years, pre-rich.
First of all, what does pre-rich mean, right? We've got $1 million portfolio, maybe got whatever, etc. We're not here to talk about money. Rich could just mean having a good life. Rich could mean having a good family, traveling the world. It depends what rich means. So I would say I'm pretty rich, not in terms of money-wise. It could be compared to some people that has a $10,000 portfolio, but that's never been important for me. The whole goal for me was to build some sort of YouTube channel, was to travel the world with my friends and provide for my parents. So I would say I'm pretty rich. And if we're talking about dollar value, compared to who? I don't know. 40 years from now, I don't want to be rich. I probably want to be dead, because I'll be 69. Think about that.
It's old as fuck, man. Here's a good one for you, Jake. Jake Gordon got me my first rollie. Listen to him.
Nice. Hopefully it wasn't a $2,500 one from the UK. Hopefully it was one of those. Hopefully it was one of those. What are the ones? I like the Hulk ones. I like the Pepsi ones are okay. I just see way too many fake people go to like Spain and buy a €20 one. My brother did that. He came back with this big, you know, the Pepsi Rolexes. Bro, it was so thick and so bulky. I could have literally snapped it with a piece of paper. I was like, bro, what the fuck is that? And I literally put it in the bin and said, bro, if you're going to get a Rolex, put in the work. And I just bought an Audi S5. So cryptocurrency must be doing okay. That was another goal for me, to buy my brother a car. And because he was coming up on his lease, and November, end of December was the end of his lease, and we just bought him a car. So again, rich could mean, well, it's not a Lamborghini, Jake, but it was providing for my brother who needs a car. So again, you got to stop comparing people to me, to you, to Parker, to your mom, to your dad. It's your own journey. We always say in cryptocurrency, and this is a real clip, this Abu, if you have 4 figures, get to the 5 figures. If you have 5 figures, get to the 6 figures. I was making a video on this, and I call it Slaying the Dragon. I can't remember where I put it was, but basically all that to say is, if you're in the 4 figures, get to the 5 figures, slay that dragon. If you're in the 5 figures, okay, get to the 6 figures, slay that dragon. If you're in the 6 to 7, slay that dragon, because you don't want to be like me that slayed the dragon in 2021, or almost went from the 6 figures to the 7 figures, but then I just lost it all and I had the dragon slayed me. Pretty much slayed him 950K, was ready for that 7-figure bracket, net worth in crypto, but he just destroyed me. So, yeah. What do you think about that? You agree with that? I mean, that's what you're trying to do almost, right? I think you said to me in Vegas, you have 6, and the goal was 7.
Yeah, multi-6 is trying to get to 7, but may pump the brakes at just high 6s.
May pump the brakes, right? And that's absolutely fine. You know, if you get to, I don't know, 7, 8, 100, pump the brakes. You're 26, 27, I don't know. But you can pump the brakes, because again, once you get to that 6-figure mark, and that should be everybody's goal, Charlie Munger always said, the first 6 figures is the hardest. Do everything you can. Like, get food stamps, save, whatever you have to do. If you can get that, it's so effing easier, as long as you're not careless, okay, and absolutely wreck it. It's so effing easy to make that money multiply, because what are you going to do with $100 in crypto? Let's say you did a 10x. My God, you did a 10x, right? You left with 1,000. If that guy with the 6 figures did a 10x, he made 900K difference. 900K, same work, same coin, same outcome, but he made 7 figures, almost 900K, and you made $900. Important to know.
And the level of risk you force yourself to take at that level too, and you lose the only money you have because you're trying to moonshot everything. Yeah, Jake, you helped that guy get a Rolex, but my chat's going crazy. It says I helped them get extra guac at Chipotle. So
yeah, so you're like the brokey that just helps people get, like, you know, free meals. It's cute, it's nice. Like, we get people like iced out watches, okay? Like, you're like that guy that's like, okay, you know, invest in the S&P, get your little $3,000 a month. We get people. That's too much. Okay, that's too far. Let me finish off these questions and we'll go back to being serious. Yeah, so that was, can't wait to hear thoughts about being rich in 4 years from now. Okay. How do you consistently make money with pools in a bear? No impairment loss, roller risk 5 to 8% a month. Perfect question. Parker Ray.
I mean, yeah, asset to asset's going to help minimize impermanent loss. But in a bear, you could even get fancy. You can short against your pool, so you can get really delta neutral, really look for just that funding rate. You know, at lows like right now, it's probably not a strategy I would employ, but you definitely, asset to asset, is there a certain asset he listed or no? Just kind of freestyling here?
Freestyle.
He said 6 to 8%, and I looked earlier actually, and I think, let me look on my laptop here next.
Just while he's doing that, again, I'm just checking chat. This guy's living in his truck watching this, got to 6 figures this year, still in his truck. See, that's the thing. So he's living that Charlie Munger lifestyle. He's doing everything he can to get to that next bracket. And it doesn't have to be overnight. Again, we always say about cryptocurrency, it's like, oh, it takes so long, 3-4 years, whatever. It's not that long, man. It's not that long comparing to other asset classes.
Yeah, I was looking at on Sui Chain had some rep Bitcoin positions doing 60% plus. I mean, that's a way where, about that 6% a month just about on assets like Bitcoin. There's a Bitcoin USDC one. There was a Bitcoin to Sui one I was looking at that one's dropped a little bit right now, but it was doing like 60 to 80% over the weekend when we were on group calls in our community. And that's an example right there where you find two assets you like and you believe in, and you could be monetizing at like 6%. That's an easy shot. Something low risk like Bitcoin.
Chat's asking if you're natty or not.
They're definitely talking about you because I definitely look natty.
Oh, you're natty.
Your chat says Jake Roids are natty.
I mean, I think I've been pretty obvious that I've been on testosterone since I was 17. Not that I was a female trying to turn into a guy, but yeah, bro. Like I came from the gym culture. Like that's just a reality of me. There was like 4 or 5 cultures, and you guys can probably resonate at home. You were definitely in the emo culture. Like you look like that guy that would wear like black makeup. But in skill, there's usually, I'm joking. In skill, there's usually like cultures, right? You get the guys that, I don't know, that just smoke weed. Okay, I was never interested in that because that would just wreck your brain. You actually get that a lot here in Thailand, which is fine, but like that's not going to help you. It's not going to make you optimize. Like imagine us coming to a stream high in weight. It would be nothing. It would actually be
crazy, bro.
It would actually be air. You had the second group of people that would wear like black. We would call them goths. You had the third group of people that were more sporty, I guess you could say. And then you had like the gym guys. Okay. And some of the what then went down the dark path. That was it. So yeah, bro, I've not been natty since 17-year-old. I'm not blasting, but like, I think I've been pretty honest with that. But stay natty. Don't be one of those guys like Alex Jekov. You know Alex Jekov?
Yeah, we know Alex.
Yeah.
They might not, but we know Alex.
Yeah, inside joke. Okay, did you answer that last question?
What was the last one?
It doesn't matter. So basically what Parker was trying to tell you guys, and I drafted this up because I actually do homework on this channel, right? I don't just pull up with 5 different words here. So this is the last thing I want to talk about DeFi on this call, and then we'll get actually back to serious questions in the market, because I know a lot of people don't want to do DeFi, and we don't have to get you to do DeFi. Again, it's just that, like, you want something to reserve back to look back to. This is going to be your formula, right? You see, Parker, I've actually done the work here. Like, I actually pull up. Okay,
yours looks really pretty. I'm going to be honest. Like, that looks pretty good. You made that?
Yeah, I made that. Like, I actually make my stuff. Okay, I actually make all this stuff. Now, this is very exciting, guys. If you have main bags, and this ties back to what that guy said, this is kind of regardless if it's like bear market. Like I'm thinking about this now, right? It's kind of like sideways market. It's kind of like mini bear to some people. Okay, this would be a great way to look at assets if you like to stack in DeFi pools, in my opinion. And the whole goal here is to get guaranteed wins and compound or scale out. And I'll talk about what I mean by that in a second. EG sounds pretty bad when you say planting your seeds. That doesn't mean what I think it means, okay? It is for you to get more dollar value and coins, okay? And if you can do that, and if we can give you the sauce for free, I will die a happy man. Because if you have more coins than what you started with, but you're doing better than today. Because imagine if you just had this strategy, okay, going on in the last month. Okay, if you can stay in range asset to assets is very important. That's something we can talk about. You would make way more money. You would have more coins for a better 26. Pardon the pun if that happens, right? So again, we always talk about giving examples, right? If you have Bitcoin and AVAX, which you can find on VFAT, okay, just by typing in, guess what? AVAX, can't spell it. AVAX, can't spell it. AVAX, can spell it. You'll find some Bitcoin AVAX pills, right? And again, these ranges, yields change all the time. The whole goal is for you to, take some action. We're not going to give you the full sauce, but, basically find a pool that you like, find some good APY, find some good TVL, which most of these have over $1 million, $500,000, which is absolutely fine. Don't scroll all the way down to the bottom because you'll find some low pools that don't make sense. And if you can do that, you have 3 options. Let's say you start that Bitcoin AVAX pool. Well, the goal would be to get more Bitcoin AVAX. Again, you're not going to accumulate a full Bitcoin. You get the point, you'll accumulate 0 point whatever, and you'll accumulate some AVAX. If you like Bitcoin AVAX, you replace this for whatever coin you like. Your second option is you can sell that Bitcoin AVAX that you made for free to new pools. So let's say that was an Ethereum XRP pool. How do I know that is there? Because guess what? We run these pools all day long. XRP Ethereum, XRP Bitcoin, Apple, banana, carrot, doesn't matter. You choose what you like. That would be option number 2. There's no right or wrong answer. Both these work. Option number 3 is you sell for cash. Don't necessarily like that. Don't know about you, but you know, you could do that. 50% of your bag. We had a lot of people say, well, I want to stack assets, but I also want to cover my risk and maybe pay my mortgage off. That's fine. If you're not taking 100% out to cash, and the reason I say that is because if you believe in cryptocurrency and you're stacking blue assets that you like or blue chips, whatever, it's going to do you a lot of disservice in future value, okay? Because if you can stack an AVAX today, and AVAX, I don't know, 4x's, it might go to 0, but let's just say 4x's. $1 is worth 4, $10 is worth 40, $100 is worth 400, $1,000 is worth $4,000. It will do you so much damage in that bull run. And then you're just planting your seeds, pardon the pun. You scale this to any other coin, etc., etc. You know, it's very, very simple. Yeah, all that to say is we get you guys to win for sure. If you can do this, you win for sure. Okay, because if you have these assets, you believe in them for a reason. Any thoughts on that, Parker? Or are you just going to give me a one-word answer?
That's a good visual. That's a good everything. I mean, I appreciate the effort on that because that might help people really visualize what the game plan could be. It's not on my screen anymore. I can't see it. But yeah, I think taking cash is not, like, you shouldn't be taking it all into cash. You shouldn't be using it to fund your lifestyle with everything. You can use some of it to pay for a new car you want, whatever, you know, take some profit. But having some of that in USDC and lending it out and keeping it for dips like now, it makes things that are happening right now to where you're not stressed. It's opportunity to finally reinvest those profits you've been stacking for months. We've been stacking fees from pools, guys, since April. So we have these bags of, like, let's say like 20, 30, 50, 60, depending on your level, maybe even $100,000 sitting on the side that now you can reinvest that money that your rules and systems have been telling you to sit on the side. And now we have the opportunity to deploy again. Which, if people are scared, everyone's in the chat, I'm reading it right now, talking about, oh, we're round tripping. Jake, are you ready to go down 80%? It's like, if the market moves down 80%, we've got all this dry powder from our pools that we can just dump into the freaking market. So if anything, bring it on. I don't think we'll do that. But when you have these systems, it makes it like a business for you, where you're able to have a game plan. You're making money every day. Cash is coming in every day. So if the market does move down, you're able to actually do something about it. It brings freedom, and it brings an abundance mentality where you're not obsessed with needing the market to give you an instant return. That was a mouthful. That wasn't a one word. There you go.
Jake, what's going to happen if you're wrong about the cycle? Are you ready for your coins to go down 80% and wait 4 more years? Harsh reality of that question is yes. Nothing would change in my life. Like, yeah, what would change? Let's hypothetically. And again, if something would to change, like, I totally, like, the guy, I'm sure it's all love. Like, if that's a reality and you're asking those kind of questions, and this is a serious thing for you guys at home, if you can't handle that and you sold your wife's holiday, you sold her handbag, you took another, like, how many guys in the last bull run, I don't know about you, but I remember people were taking out second mortgages. I think they call it a HELOC loan in your country on their house. I don't know the exact term, right? They took out a second mortgage that they could barely afford just to catch up the next 6 months, round about that bottom, but then it would ride all the way back down, and they'd now have fucking 2 loans against their house. To answer that question, if you can't handle your coin going down 80%, 50%, 30%, 20, like, maybe it's not for you. Because I can honestly tell you nothing would change in my life. The only thing that would change in my life is my portfolio is now worth, if that happened, 200K compared to $1 million, 80% give or take. So yeah, the Lamborghini would not be getting bought if I was interested in that. But literally nothing would change. I would still live in Thailand. We would still do these group calls. We would still do a YouTube channel. We would still get members on for our 10K fast track. I would still go home and see my mum. She would still come here hopefully one day. I would still play golf with my dad. I would still go to the gym. I would still train. Nothing would fucking happen because my income and my expenses are not fucking crazy. Cryptocurrency is a leverage bet for me to make generational wealth, whatever that means for you for this bull run. And just to have something you're passionate about. Okay, so I'd much rather play, and here's the reality, not a lot of people would say this. I'd rather play down the 80% short-term loss on paper for the beautiful story at the end. That's what I would rather do because nothing would happen because I haven't got any loads. I have 0 debt. I have 0 debt. I don't even have a credit card. I don't even, like, I would not probably not get approved, right? It's just the reality. I don't even live in the UK. I don't even have a Thai bank account. I literally have nothing but a crypto portfolio, a couple of bank accounts, and an iced out watch. I have nothing. So, and a YouTube
Abu,
channel.
fucking clip that shit. That
Clip
was perfect.
that shit, bro.
Clip all that shit,
Clip
man.
that. Because that's the reality, right? And you're asking that question because you're nervous, and I get that. And you're asking that question of me previous run, okay? And if you have a 9 to 5 and you live paycheck to paycheck, I would probably be asking those questions as well. So maybe you have too much risk. So maybe next month when you get your paycheck, maybe stop decent in on cryptocurrency, although that would suck if it got to go down lower, because these are the times where you make the money if we do eventually come back up. But maybe you should just have your emergency fund. Like, I could theoretically live for the next, in Thailand, till 6 lifetimes if my crypto portfolio went to zero. That's just reality. So yeah, don't be taking out debt. So
you go down 80% from your 1 mil, and then what? You only got 250K, 200K. Oh no, you could live forever on Thailand with that. My chat's saying, you got to have the investor mindset where it's long term. It's like, I'm buying Bitcoin. I'm not buying Bitcoin to 2x my money by tomorrow. It's like, I am buying Bitcoin. So like, for example, my one-on-one call with Grant earlier, one of our clients, where I'm just talking to him.
Oh,
like,
you can't stop talking about our group. Stop it, bro. I'm joking.
But we're talking about like Bitcoin amounts we're buying. We're not even talking about dollar amounts anymore. We're like, yeah, I want to buy like half a Bitcoin here, like next week when the market moves down a little farther. It's like the conversations are changing to where it's not even like denominated in dollars, it's denominated in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is that asset for a lot of us, where it's just we're trying to get the Bitcoin itself. And so it's a cool mindset flip.
And let's go back to that question again, because that is an important question about the 80% thing. You know how I knew that many crypto YouTubers before? I'll just pull up some names. You won't know them. There was a guy called Matt Chase. There was a guy, and this is no hate towards these guys, but it was funny, and we're seeing the same thing happen right now. I don't know if you're clued up on I know pretty much every crypto guy sub 50K, right? I don't want to give names, but I remember in the 2022 crash, whatever, or 2021 crash, depends when you look at it. 2022, right? It was obvious. All these YouTubers that never done the real work and the damage, that were just making money off ad revenue, doing a little couple of sponsors, selling their little shitty $10 Patreon, they're not here anymore because they couldn't handle that 80% drop that you talked about. But we could, because we already built up the original life before, and we already had money from doing other stuff. And that's not to say that if you don't have money, you should give up as a YouTuber. But I can give so many names right now in the last 2 to 3 months that haven't posted because the market went down and their little fucking meme coin altcoin was wrong. If we call coins out and we're wrong, I've been calling HBAR for 4 fucking years now. If it went to zero, I would be sorry. I would say, okay, that's a big amount of my portfolio, but I would still post on YouTube. But I just remember 2022, and you guys probably, if you're OGs, remember Matt Chase, no hate towards him. But wasn't it funny how these guys just gave up on YouTube when the money printer stopped working, when their portfolios went down, and now they're never here again? Same thing happened. I can. When I used to run a skill group as well, where we used to teach people YouTube. I don't know if you remember. All those guys gave up bar one person because the market got tough. The views dried up. It's never been about the views, because we don't do this for money. We sell a product for income, which is great, but nothing would happen if nobody bought a 10K fast track community lifetime membership for me for the next 10 years. I would be sad, but I was like, why is nobody not buying? Do I suck? But I would still make YouTube videos because it doesn't fucking matter. You would be sad because you need some income and you need to get out your 9 to 5. Okay? You would be sad, but nothing would change.
You said views never matter, like I get any.
You've came a long way. You went from a 3-figure viewer. And again, you know what's funny we said about slaying the dragons with cryptocurrency and income, investments, like 3 figures to the 4 figures? He's been in the same journey with YouTube. He was a one, what do you call it? What was the number?
1-digit viewer?
He was a 1-digit viewer, which is like less than 10 views. And then he went from a 2 to 3, which is the 10s to the hundreds. And now you've had a couple of videos, all thanks to me, cross the 4-figure brackets, the 1,000.
That was before. I had to get him before.
So now your next goal, you're slaying a lot, and that's the thing about content. He can slay a lot of dragons. Your next goal is to get that 5-figure view, okay, the 10K plus one. And it will happen because you don't care if a video flops. You don't care if the market goes to shit. It's always the same thing. If your goal is in the gym with body fat, okay, I need to go to the orthodontist today at 1:30 apparently. If your goal is in the gym to get to less body fat. It's about coming down and slaying that dragon. It's always the same game. It's always the same game. But the people that give
and it's
up
the journey, man.
are the people that can't handle it. The goal is the journey. It's not the destination. Because a lot of people want the 7-figure portfolio, if I could click my fingers, but their life would suck. It's about the story. Anyways, to answer that question about 80% down, remember this 80% down in Amazon? What happened?
Yeah, we talked about this a few times. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll continually talk about it because it's a great reference point. This thing went down 94%. And even if you bought the absolute worst, you'd have to wait years. That's the thing about cryptocurrency. You don't have to wait a decade to break even. You would have still made a fuck ton of money. You would have still got rich off Amazon stock. At the worst time, you would have still made it. So that's my point in that. Parker, it's your time to do some talking. My mouth is drying up.
Give me some questions.
You just shouldn't need questions, bro. It should just come.
We got chat. Chat says, quit giving the free sauce. Let's see. Okay, we're not going to stop that. We're going to give it all away. Parker,
no, we will give it all away. We will give it
altcoins.
all the way. We will give it all the way. Again,
Exactly.
You should just understand what I just gave you here is literally all you need if you're interested in DeFi. I can't teach you trading. Bobby can teach you trading. I can't, and I'll be honest with that. I'm not one of these.
Chat's saying Amazon was 22 years ago, man. Come on. So I don't know if that's kind of trying to say that it's not relevant because it was 22 years ago, but I mean,
trying to make me look bad, bro.
No, I'm saying
I'm joking.
Do you have a response to that? I mean, Amazon was newer back then, just like Bitcoin's newer now.
Yeah,
and it starts to mature and take over the market.
The reference is the point there.
How many years old was it at that point? Actually, how many years old was Amazon?
And the crash or
on the chart there? I can't see it anymore. It went away.
2000 was a peak, and then it went down to 2001. 1 year later, it went down to that absolute bottom. The whole point there is just looking at some asset that's relevant to people people can understand with Amazon. Okay, because here's the thing with cryptocurrency, right? I don't know about your mom and your dad, etc., and you can answer yourself at home, Parker, or you can look in if you're in chat right now. If you think about this, every time I go back to the UK and I talk about cryptocurrency, it's just like there's a sour taste in my household. Okay, with not really my mom, it's more my dad, and it's now becoming the sour taste where he's like, "Fuck, I should have listened." Okay, because I've been telling him to buy Bitcoin way back in 2020, even if he completely read it all the way up and read it all the way back down. We're talking about sub $17,000, $18,000 Bitcoin. So it would never have mattered, you know, because guess what? He's still alive. He's done nothing, not in terms of with his life in that time, but even if he just did nothing, lived the exact same life, put it in Bitcoin, did absolute nothing, went away, never checked his hardware wallet, etc., he'd be up, give or take, a 4 to 5x right now from doing nothing. And I can promise you his little S&P 500 or his little stocks that he likes to invest in haven't done anywhere close to that. So there's a sour taste in people's household, or it's getting to that stage where it's like, you know, if you go back and ask people to buy Bitcoin in 2016, 2017, they're like, no, I'm not buying that scam coin. It's what the fuck's that? But now it's becoming the point where it's like, fuck, I wish I did buy that. So it's a sour in a different way. And it's just a matter of a time before we see those same people feel the same sourness in their mouth. Because it used to be about, I'm never buying that shit. Now it's like, fuck, I wish I did buy that thing.
I mean, I started going heavy in Bitcoin and crypto back in 23. It's really when I was like, hey, stacking 3 jobs and using everything to buy crypto and get into it. And that's before I went down the rabbit hole. But my point being is that I have an uncle who's done really well, don't talk to you very often, done really well with stocks and all that. And I tried kind of asking him about Bitcoin and seeing if he'd give me an endorsement, essentially, like, you know, give me the comfortability I'm doing the right thing. And he was so against it. And I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm doing it anyways, right? To where I'm putting everything I have in Bitcoin and crypto. And Christmas was so awkward, like that first year where like him and my aunt are telling me to, you know, sell it, get rid of all of it. You're up a little bit, sell it now, get out of that shit. You know, it's trash. And then, you know, now we're 2 years later where, you know, I'm talking to him about it and I've obviously done really well and I'm deep down the rabbit hole on DeFi and all this shit. But now his thesis has changed where he's like, you know, I think I've made my money already in the market, but for you guys in your generation, I can see the future of this whole Bitcoin and crypto thing. So them seeing it, you know, it didn't really turn him toxic like it would with some people, but he's recognized that, okay, this is something that in the future, it's going to be different for your generation. This is going to be a very important asset. So it's nice to see coming around. I know you said you can't get your dad on board. I finally got my dad on board last year and getting a little bit, you know, and some of my family's aware, tracking price and starting to buy in, but it's definitely there's people that they miss the boat and they get really mad about it and they end up buying the top, or they just let it go forever. Sad to see, man.
Yeah, good rant. See, that's the rant that you need to open up to on your YouTube channel and these streams, because that just changes you as a game from becoming a robot. That was good. Chat, give him a like. Parker Jake, top altcoins you're holding. You know, there used to be a time and day when I used to love making these videos on YouTube. Okay, and that was, I don't know if you've made any. Like, chat, do you like these kind of videos? Like top 5 altcoins. I've probably got one coming out next 2 days to buy for this bull run. Right? You know, these are the kind of, I don't think I have one coming out, but imagine if I did. These videos, I don't know about you, when I was watching cryptocurrency before I started to do YouTube, these are kind of videos that I would like, but they would never fucking help you. They would never fucking help you. They would never, ever, ever help you, because all the guy would do, and I've been guilty of this before because, you know, I used to play the YouTube game, but now it's not really about that. It's about building people that are in the same mindset that we don't have to make a top 5 video anymore. Don't quote me if I make a video about this, because the problem is this video just gets the Jeffries in, right? And it's not a Jeffrey question, it's probably the right mentality, but I would like to change the question a little bit if we can come back to that. And it's always the same video. I would buy XRP because XRP is going to $20. And that would be that. That would be the first coin. I would buy Solana because it did well in 2021. I would buy HBAR because Jake Gordon said that he likes it. I would buy Sui because Parker said it's going to $10 that you can monetize on Turbo Finance against Walrus. So that's a little bit better because that gives you a little bit more insight on what you can do with the coin. But it's always the same thing. It's always the same thing. I would buy HBAR because it's eco-friendly. The banks are using it. But again, it doesn't really help you. So I fucking hate these types of videos. And if any YouTuber makes these types of videos, I want you to tell them that this sucks because it doesn't help you as a beginner investor, and it especially doesn't help you right now. And the problem with making these videos as well is if you make this video right, let's say we made this video last month when Bitcoin was at 125K, 126K, right?
Oh yeah, that's your fault.
Sorry. It doesn't help you because
Not
it doesn't
financial advice.
It's spiritual advice. It doesn't give you any context because the top 5 for this bull run, or the top 5 coins to buy for when, for what, for who, for how much money, what are you going to do with it? So you need more context. And the problem in the YouTube title, Isaac, you keep distracting me. The problem with the YouTube title is you can't give more than a title. Okay, you can give more in the video, but you can't give more in a title. So you really need to stop watching these videos. Okay, in my opinion, it needs to be framed a little bit differently. So if we were to look at top 5 altcoins or top 2 altcoins, again, that's literally what the question is, to buy or that you're holding, you need to address it with a different mind, okay? Because again, if you have $100, it's going to be different from the guy that has $10 million or the guy that has $100 million like Michael Saylor, because what he can do is just buy BTC and do absolutely, can't spell, doesn't matter, nothing. And he's rich because he's already rich. This guy, 10 million, let's just put this maybe to, I don't know, 250K. This guy, this is kind of where you're at, I think. I don't want to dox you, but I'm just doing maths. I don't know. He can buy some BTC. He can buy some Ethereum. He can buy some HBAR. He can buy some Sui. He can buy Solana. He can just buy Bitcoin. Don't get me wrong. But if his goal is to play catch up, I think it's good at this kind of level, at any level, to build some altcoins in your bull run back. With the potential of maybe buying Pepe, for example, and it going to zero or being a hero run like it did in the previous run. I think that's fine. But for the guy that has $100, is he buying Bitcoin? No. He maybe should, and it's probably better for him because the only way he makes it is the legendary 1000x trade, because he's not going to make any money. And and again, the question here, because the question is he hasn't done the work in the real world. Okay, because I'm just presuming the guys that ask these questions is all they ever have to their name and all they ever believe that they can have is just $100. Okay, because that's typically the kind of people that ask these questions. The better question, what the fuck? The better question for the guy that has $100 is literally that. You should just get a job that you can comfortably make more than what you're spending, or sell your Xbox. or sell your girlfriend handbag. I'm dead ass seriously, because the typical kind of guys.
No, I mean, you're not wrong.
No, I'm not wrong. If you had $100 and you came to this stream, okay, and said, Jake, I have $100. Parker, I have $100. I want to start a DeFi pool, Parker. I want to start making 10K per month on my $100 DeFi. What would you say to that guy?
Yeah, I mean, this is where I started, right? I mean, 2-3 years ago, I started basically $5,000 in the hole, like negative money, right? Negative balance. And I stacked jobs. I fixed the income problem so then I could pay off all the debt and then start stacking about like late summer 23 into Bitcoin and everything else I was fucking buying. And to be honest with you, we're joking about like, don't buy $100 of Bitcoin, but there's a lot of shit I bought back then and learned the hard way that I would have done so much better just buying Bitcoin instead. That was back when it was like, what, 30K back then? Like 25, 30K? Like if I would have just bought so much more Bitcoin instead of all the junk I was buying, I would have been in an even better position now, right? But I've learned those lessons and now I can share those stories. But yeah, income is the biggest problem, because then you're going to quit taking on so much risk, all this random shit, and you can just throw it into Bitcoin, throw it in the shit that's going to win for sure, and keep focusing on work and let time in the market do its thing with these strong coins.
Yeah, I just seen another guy make this title a little bit better. Top 5 altcoins to use for DeFi pools. Because now it's getting a little bit better. Now we can actually give you some
more
tangible advice. It's more constructive. But the problem is, if you pull up to YouTube and you're trying to get views, if you put this title is a 3K video, maybe a 2K video, depends how big you are. This title is like this, or 50K, 20K, depends how well you can make the video. Okay, that's the problem. So the YouTuber, okay, comes in and says, well, people don't like these kind of videos because it didn't get any views. And it's not about that, because how valuable is this viewer compared to this viewer? With this thing, most of the time you're going to just wreck people. Even if you're right, they'll watch the video 1 month down the line and the coin will be not doing well. It depends what time they buy. Okay, with this video, you're going to get less views, but you're going to really, in my opinion, you have the chance to change somebody's life. If you want to use DeFi pills, you don't have to use DeFi pills, of course, but if somebody was interested in that, you have the potential to completely change somebody's life, because they can do this. And if they know what they're doing and they start maybe watching your other videos, they can start monetizing 5 coins that they like and start making an income, start buying coins for a cheap price if they don't have any other income, okay, in the real world. And that's absolutely fine. But this gives people a stepping stone. And this is something that we can actually answer. Because again, if I was to answer this question, I would literally just come here, pull up my portfolio and say HBAR, Solana, QNT, XRP, and Bitcoin. Or Gala, Render, Sui, Zora, and Medicaid. It doesn't fucking matter, because I don't want to be the guy that tells you what coins to buy. I only tell you what coins I'm buying. You need to figure this out. And if you can figure this out, you can figure this out, and you never have to work again in your life if you know how to make 3 to 5K per month, if that's what you're making per month.
I like that chat say nobody knows what's going to happen. I like that. I kind of like that.
Anyways, let's answer this question. Top altcoins used for DeFi pools. I'll give you mine.
For DeFi pools?
I'll give you mine. And again, this is what I like, and this is what I've seen in our 10K fast track with, I think we have 116 members. What I've consistently seen, and you'll know more than me because you're a little bit more on there than me. I usually do the Saturday kind of general calls. I typically see a lot of people come in with like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, Sui, Aerodrome Finance, and maybe they have 2 riskier plays along the side. So most of your stuff is going to be found on VFAT. So if that is a BTC pool and you have AVAX, for example, you can start finding BTC and AVAX. If you have, for example, Solana, you can come on Orica and you can come on pools and you can see Solana there. In the last 24 hours, they've paid out $99,000. Again, you guys need to research and do the facts on this and what we're kind of looking at here, but that is typically what we see. If you have Sui, I know you like Walrus. I've seen a lot of people in chat talk about Walrus. They must have been seeing what we talked about last time, but if you just have Sui USDC, that might be one. If you want to monetize this against Walrus, just type in Walrus here, filter by token. That's typically what I see. Walrus is a little bit more risky for me, but that's absolutely fine. If you held it already, if you had, XRP, you can find some XRP BTC pools, you can find some XRP BNB pools, or I wouldn't touch this because it's only doing 11%. You can find some XRP pools. Okay, that's typically, I think I've gave you 5 or 6 there. That's typically what I've seen. But again, if you already have those in your portfolio, it's a quick win. If you don't have any of those coins in your portfolio, none of these are wins for you, because then I'm creating a big problem, because then I'm coming back to this shit. You're selling your high conviction bags for stuff that some YouTuber that lives in Thailand, that used to be from the UK, like, don't trust me. I don't want to be that guy. So if you didn't have those coins and you did want to use DeFi bills, you would just type in your coin here. And if it makes sense for you, and you know how to work this and not fuck up a Rabby wallet by giving out your seed phrase, try it out with $100. Anything that you've seen that I've missed on coins?
No, I do want to address this comment though, because people are talking about like, hey, Jake, you're making money from YouTube, so you must feel good. All of us, we're down 6 figures. We don't have time for all the small talk. I'm just reading the comment, right? And I'm going to answer this because I'm a little more close, I'd say, to
why is it in capital letters, bro?
I know, it's all caps, bro. I'm going to answer this and take this because I feel like, 2 years ago, I mean, I would literally, again, had no money, so I can give a more realistic approach of just like what the normal guy's doing, right? And so that's what we were just talking about 5 minutes ago, is income. Like, if your income is not high enough to actually do something about being down, that's where you can stack a second or third job. I mean, that's what I was doing. I was selling cars all day in the morning, and then I was bartending all night until like 3 or 4 a.m. You don't think I was tired? Yeah, I was fucking tired. But I threw a bunch of money into crypto, and it changed my life. I could buy these dips. I didn't have to be scared if the market came down, because I was able to consistently keep throwing money in. And then you take it a step further, and then DeFi, what we practice and what we teach is to run it like a business. Now you have a business that is making you money every month and every day. So it's another income source. You have 2 jobs making you money, just getting deposited in your bank account. And then you got crypto spitting you out money every single day. And with all these different income sources, you're not going to be so tied to the direction of the market, because you can actually do something about it. When the market's dipping, when Bitcoin's 20% off this week, you can actually buy some Bitcoin for cheaper than you were so happy to do at 125. It takes the emotions out of it, and you can logically just think and grow it as a business over time. And just you quit being so fucking emotional, guys, at the end of the day. And do something about it and change your life. Start making money, whether that's from stacking jobs or stacking income through DeFi. And I'm not trying to sound out of touch either, because literally, again, 2 years ago, I had nothing. I've been in the trenches. You just got to put the hard work in. You got to work hard, and you got to put your portfolio to work hard as well. Rant over.
It's a good point, but I want to say to that guy as well, again, we're all loving this channel. This is absolutely fine. What did I do in 2020 when I didn't have a YouTube channel? How did I invest 6 figures in crypto in 2020? Where did I get that money from? Because it wasn't given by my mom or dad. It wasn't given by the tooth fairy. It wasn't given by anybody. I lived in a council kind of place with my girlfriend in a 50 grand house at the time that we mortgaged, and we were paying $200 a month from. So where did I get the 100 grand, the 6 figures in 2020 to ride up to the 950K? Because it makes sense now. And again, you think I make a lot of money on YouTube. I really fucking don't. We make good money on the 10K fast track, don't get me wrong. But we've always been about the main bags first, So where did I get the money in 2020? Well, I had a job, okay, that was paying. I had many jobs, actually. One job I can't talk about because it involved me taking off my clothes. Anyways, that's dead ass. But I would basically spend all my money on food and the gym and supplements. So where did I get the initial 6 figures from? Well, I bought and I invested in an e-com course from before that, and I ran up a store. So yeah, it's not going to be relatable to some people because I don't want to start a business, Jake. Well, that's fine. It's just going to take you so fucking long in the 9-to-5 job if you're living paycheck to paycheck. You either have to downsize your house, move back in with your parents, sell that fucking BMW that you've got in finance, or you're never going to fucking make any money in crypto because you can't even get the game. So what I did, I couldn't even afford the course that I bought. Okay, my girlfriend bought the course on ecom, and for the next 6 months, I woke up at 5 a.m. and I just studied this course and ran up stores. That's all I did. And then I went to the gym and I just ate a couple times a day, and that's all I did. And that's how I made that money. And if you go back, you can actually see that on my channel. It's all there. So to answer that question, I've been in the same boat as you, okay? I've played the job game, but I knew the job game for me, it was never, ever going to, because I didn't want to play the game that you're playing. Because, Parker, I couldn't do the hours that you were working. I just wasn't able or wasn't willing to do that. I wanted to be able to control my income. And that's why that's why you're on your different path right now. I can see what I did in me a few years back in you. And I can see the come up start to happen with the YouTube, with your DeFi business, with you helping out our group. I can see it because I've lived it. And guess what happened? What happened in 2021 and 2022 when I had zero? Where did I get the next money from? I had $0. I literally, I need to bring this on next chat. I had minus $2,000 in my bank account. That's not a joke. What did I do? Well, I remembered the skills from the ecom scores, and I started to run up another dropshipping store. And then the YouTube started to take off, and it was kind of like the perfect scenario, right? But that's what I did, because I knew the 9-to-5 job wasn't going to get me there. And we're running out of time here. Isaac's looking at me dead in the face. We have 4 minutes left. So again, to answer that question, it doesn't matter. And here's the thing. Let me give you another point in that. If my mum or dad gave me $1 million to play in crypto, it doesn't fucking matter anyways. It's just the cards that you're given. If my mum and dad, even right now, they gave me $1 million, they don't have anything, by the way. They're literally nothing, which is respectable, and I like that, okay? Because they didn't give me anything. But let's just say in 2020, they gave me $1 million, and that's how I made my money. Let's just say that was the case. It shouldn't matter to you anyways, because what the fuck is it going to do for you? Nothing. It's just going to make you more angry anyways. And this is the mindset that I used to have when I was trying to get in dropshipping, trying to get in Forex, trying to do all these things, figure something out back in the day. I would come on Instagram and I would just get pissed off by 17, 18-year-olds living in Dubai. And that wasn't going to help me. It just made me so much more angrier. So there's no point, if you look at me or look at Parker or look at anybody that has been giving money, we weren't giving money, but let's just say we did, it doesn't change your situation anyways. It just makes it a lot fucking worse.
Chat says, if this dude was poor 2 years ago, why are we listening to him? It's the transformation, man.
It's the journey.
Transformation.
And if you don't like somebody with
mindset,
if you don't like somebody with $1 million portfolio, go and watch like Crypto R Us, the guy from George that has probably $10 million in portfolio. You know, I used to watch people I used to resonate with when I was starting investing in cryptocurrency, and I just liked somebody that literally spoke like me, acted like me. So there's everybody in this chat probably speaks like us, or they probably act like us. So there's no reason why you should watch us. Me and you are kind of the same, but kind of different because of our, I guess, accents.
Different accents.
But we're basically the same. He wants to come to Thailand. He wants to go to the gym. He's now started boxing. You know, he's basically the same guy. So if you watch us, you know, you're maybe in that avatar, or maybe you just like the come up story. I don't like watching people that were given $10 million. I like watching, that's why you watch movies. That's why you watch Batman or fucking superhero, whatever. He has a hard start. He goes and makes something of his life, and then he loses it all, and then he has to go again. And that's how the movie keeps you hooked, because it's like you start to see yourself in them. When I used to watch YouTubers, I didn't watch the people that were already rich. It made no sense to me. I watched somebody that was maybe on the come up because I resonated with them. Anyways, we've got 2 minutes left, Parker. 1 minute left. Pick any questions or give any value that you want to see.
I wanted to address the whole 2 years thing one more time, just because, you know, it's not supposed to be like a discredit me because of 2 years ago I was in a different place. But 2 to 3 years ago, I changed my mindset. I want that to be inspirational for anyone. I'm seeing some comments. I've lost them a second ago where someone's talking about, hey, I've got 2 side hustles. I lost everything in the last bull run. I've been depressed, but I'm locked in, and I love what your guys' message is. And that's exactly who I want to reach with my story too, where I could be that inspiration that, you know, you may not see it right away. We're not trying to get rich overnight with a 1000x moonshot meme coin trade, right? But if you're consistent and you stack and you get involved with DeFi and you start building that income, it's going to change your life. And it will start to happen slowly, but the way it snowballs is just crazy. And it's for countless people inside our community, for countless people, friends and family that we've helped. I mean, it's changed my life personally, and I would love to be that poster boy for that. So definitely don't feel discouraged if things are down, guys. You can still make it. It's just going to be on the other side of hard work and full responsibility, educating yourself and taking control of your portfolio.
What a good chat, guys. See you next time. Parker, good to have you. Stay strong, and we'll see you on Thursday/Wednesday.
GG, boys.
GG. Thank you, Isaac, for being here. Goodbye.